Hello, and welcome back to MoJo JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, the one and only Powerpuff Girls / JoJo's Bizarre Adventure recap and discussion podcast. I'm Raven.
And I'm Alison.
This week we are discussing the Powerpuff Girls Season 3 episodes Hot Air, Buffoon and Ploys R Us. But before we get into discussing the episodes, just a reminder to hit all those buttons for us, depending on where you're listening to this. Follow / subscribe, comment, leave a review, leave a like if you're listening on YouTube, that kind of thing. It would really help us to get out there to more folks, and if you leave us a review, we might read it on the pod.
And also, don't forget to check out our other podcast, What We Pod in the Shadows, where we are discussing currently Season 3 of What We Do in the Shadows, which is a comedy about some silly vampires that live in Staten Island.
Yeah, you might enjoy that if you want to hear about some vampires who are a little bit less evil than Dio. Okay, so I'm going to start talking about Hot Air Buffoon. The mayor calls the girls on the bank-robbing barefoot bandits who look suspiciously like Fred Flintstone and Barney Rubble. Then he calls him on a big pink dinosaur who's breathing fire on the city. Then he says jewels are being jacked by Jill. The Powerpuff Girls beat up the bad guys each time, and the mayor is exhausted from calling them so much when he talks to a nighttime cleaning lady, thinking she's Ms. Bellum at first, who says he's not the real leader of Townsville because the Powerpuff Girls are the ones out there risking their lives every day whilst he sits in his little office. She leaves the room saying she didn't vote for him either, and the mayor almost calls the girls to beat her up. Then he has a big tantrum and destroys his office. Ms. Bellum comes in and is concerned about the state of his office, but the mayor says now is the time to seize the helm and has Ms. Bellum follow him to the roof where he has a big purple and yellow hot air balloon. He declares that he's embarking on a new deal where he won't just sit on his butt but also solve crime. He tells Ms. Bellum to look after the city for him, but she insists on coming with him. She's not sure how he's going to kick butt up in the air at the mercy of the wind, but he unveils his telescope and one of those boxing gloves on like a hinge thing, I don't know what they're called, saying he'll spot crime with the telescope and stop it with the boxing glove, which he calls the equalizer. He spots a guy with a knife mugging an old lady and punches the mugger with the equalizer. Ms. Bellum admits she had her doubts but is impressed and says he has a real knack for this. He stops the guy from stealing a car and declares that soon they won't even need the Powerpuff Girls. However, the next 3 people the mayor punches are a litter bug, a construction worker making withdrawal from his account, and a boxer in a boxing match. And Ms. Bellum becomes horrified and concerned. The mayor starts using the equalizer on people left and right. The narrator declares that the mayor has gone stark raving mad and wonders where the girls are. At home, Blossom becomes concerned that the mayor hasn't called all day, but Buttercup just wants to play video games. Bubbles agrees that something must be up, and Buttercup says that they're ruining her concentration and that they can go to the mayor's office just to prove nothing is wrong. Buttercup initially is like, see, nothing to worry about, but the mayor's office is trashed, so something must be going on. They fly into the city and ask about the mayor, but the citizens of Townsville are all running away from him in his hot air balloon in terror. The girls confront the mayor, but he tries to punch them with the equalizer, saying that it's his town and he's going to be the hero of his town. He misses the girls and manages to hit a huge red button that launches off 4 missiles. The girls chase after the missiles, with Buttercup stripping off the outer metal shell of one, Bubbles doing a sonic scream at another, launching it into space, and Blossom riding off on the 3rd one into the ocean. However, the 4th missile is heading towards Townsville and the mayor decides he'll take care of it, but before the missile can land, the girls catch it just before it can land on a cowering dog. It seems the day is saved, until the mayor punches the missile with his equalizer, destroying the city. The mayor apologizes, saying he just wanted to help, and Bubbles says he can help by calling them when there's trouble. Everyone is in good spirits and laugh together. The narrator says, "Oh, Mayor, what would Townsville do without you? Probably be a lot better off. The day is saved."
the mayor is kind of useless, but I'm sure there are other people besides the cleaning lady that like have that opinion.
Oh, absolutely.
So I mean, he must not like read comments or editorials in the newspaper or anything about him. I could see if it was like a whole crowd of people or something that kind of had that opinion, or like I said, like the newspaper had read, like he saw like multiple people were saying that stuff about him, and then he decides, oh, I'm gonna go do stuff, so we don't need to use the girls. He called them glory hogs at one point, I think.
His ego is just that fragile that he gets one negative comment by one person and he's like, well, I have to prove her wrong right now.
Yeah. I mean, like the mayor, I'm sure, like the president, they've got like the people that work around them, the cabinet members and stuff. So I think on a smaller scale, the mayor probably has people like that around him. There's probably more than just Miss Bellum. That it is a pretty big building.
Yeah.
That do different things throughout the city. Even if he was like, say, a competent mayor, he couldn't just do it by himself anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, the girls aren't running the city per se. They're not making laws or decisions. They're just like stopping crimes or like destruction from usually monsters. Like he does call them for bank robberies. It seems like a lot of it's either a monster or a robbery. It's like typically the two things.
They're not really charge. They just are there to like kick butt and save the day.
I mean, we've seen kind of lately, like, them kind of doing play things or, like, they're in school and stuff. So, unless it's, like, something they can hear or see in their vicinity, they don't usually just, like, jump in unless he has called them either.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're even reluctant to go because they're in the middle of coloring or playing or whatever. So,
indeed.
They're not even like really dying to go do it in some instances.
Yeah. Not even Buttercup, and we know she loves a good fight.
I know you're asking what to call that punching glove thing. Like the wiki called it an extended punching glove, but yeah, I'm not totally sure what. Yeah. Just like a boxing glove on like an accordion.
Yeah.
Thing.
Yeah, I meant to see what it said on the wiki, but I forgot. I just skipped down to the trivia section.
I mean, it's not bad for him to like try to maybe do more than what he does, but
yeah,
he probably should, like that type of stuff, leave it to the police. Like maybe the police could use a helicopter or something to help with their crime fighting.
I'm sure there's something he could do that would be more helpful that doesn't involve him immediately going mad with power.
Yeah, he probably needs to go on TV and, like, issue an apology because he was just, like...
He was punching everybody.
And then he almost blew up... Well, he did blow up the town, but with 4 missiles.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why they were set to blow up the town, though.
This probably is not it at all. I think it's like some sort of, like, either failsafe for, like, the monsters, like if
they're... self-destruct.
Yeah, like if the girls, for whatever reason, can't defeat the monster, or they get defeated, or maybe even a failsafe for the girls if, like, they get out of control, which is probably not the case, but probably more for the monsters.
I wrote down that the cleaning lady was voiced by Candy Milo, but there wasn't really, like, a thing to learn more about her, so I'm not really sure who she is.
She did take over the voice, I think it was her, the voice of, like, Dexter and maybe, like, Chucky on Rugrats after the previous voice actress, like, retired and stuff.
Okay, these episodes aired December 1st, 2000 in the US. And this episode is called Ploys Are Us, like Toys R Us. The girls wake up but want more time to sleep when they notice a bunch of toys in their room. They try them all out enthusiastically until Buttercup breaks a window with a football, and they wonder why they were given all the toys as gifts, so they seek out Professor for the answer. They find Professor asleep, so they whisper their thanks. They continue playing with the new toys and are sad when the mayor calls. They are directed to a store that was robbed at the corner of 5th and 6th, a toy store. Dun dun dun. The owner lists off all the toys the girls found in their room. Was his name the toy store owner, Mr. Giuseppe?
Yes, Mr. Giuseppe.
Okay. So they kind of like look at each other. They kind of suspect like the toys in their room were the stolen toys. At bedtime, they discuss the professor being a thief. When he walks past their bedroom door, they decide to follow him and realize he is sleepwalking. I'm not sure why they didn't think maybe they did it somehow.
Yeah.
Because my first thing would not be to like, oh yeah, the professor must have stolen them. Because it's stuff that they wanted in their room.
Yeah.
Since it's not his fault, he is stealing while he sleeps. They tell him a bunch of toys they would like. So they kind of see it, I don't know, maybe in their kid
minds.
I guess their kid logic that because he doesn't realize what he's doing, that it's not a crime in that case. But still, Mr. Giuseppe is being robbed.
Yeah.
The next morning, there are new toys for them to enjoy, and they are called yet again to the toy store about theft. That night, they tell the sleepwalking professor what toys they want again as he sleepwalks into town and awake the next morning to new toys once again. So I just am like, this happens again to jaunty music. And again, now they have a ball pit. And again, over and over. They lie to the mayor about not being able to find the thief when Professor knocks on their bedroom door. They quickly try to hide all the toys. When Professor comes in, the toys burst from the closet. He angrily asks where they came from, and they say the city gave them to them for saving the day. He believes them, but instead of stopping, they send the sleepwalking professor once again into town with their list of toys. So they kind of like feel guilty there, or like, ooh, we were almost caught, and then they do it some more.
Yeah.
Once in the toy store, Professor drops a talking chipmunk toy, and it wakes him, and he is astonished and sad to see himself holding all the toys. The girls wake angrily to find no new toys. The next night, they follow the professor to the toy store. The mayor pops out and a SWAT team drops in, but the professor surprises everyone by somersaulting and taking the mayor hostage. So I think the mayor like elbows him or hits him or something, and he drops the mayor, and then the SWAT team all open fire on the professor. So it's just like they keep showing each gun like firing, firing, firing. The professor drops to the floor in pain and is motionless. The girls cry and confess and think Professor is dead, but he pops up covered in suction cups and said they knew all along, which I don't think they knew until the last instance. But
yeah, no.
The mayor says no harm was really done. The toys are paid for. I don't know why the toys are paid for, unless it was just like insurance.
Yeah.
So they can keep them. Blossom says that's not right, so the mayor says he will take the toys, not for charity, but because he's always wanted a beefy Betty. Ha ha ha. And then it says, the day is saved from the Powerpuff Girls by the Powerpuff Girls.
I'm just like, he could have just, if he wanted to, he could have just taken the beefy Betty and given the rest to charity.
Yeah. I feel like either they gave them to like less fortunate children or gave them back to Mr. Giuseppe.
Yeah.
I'm not sure at all that the girls should have kept any of it.
No, probably not. I do think it was very extreme though to like pretend that they murdered Professor over some toys.
Yeah, I
didn't like that.
Yeah, that's like pretty scary for the girls, and they're pretty little.
Yeah, you're doing PTSD.
I'm not sure how they could have acted it out better, but maybe it could have just been like a fake news story and like, yeah, I think we know who the thief is, and kind of had like a mugshot of, or like, a sketch. It kind of looked like Professor, and we're gonna throw this guy in jail for 20 years or something when we find him, and like just kind of got them scared.
Yeah, not like something that's gonna perhaps scar them for life.
I think even just like Professor confronting them about it probably would have been enough.
Yeah, probably.
It probably was Professor's idea, honestly.
God, probably.
Because he's the one that, like, realized it. I don't know. I mean, Miss Bellum wasn't there, so she probably didn't know.
Yeah, probably. I just think that went too far. I'm not a huge fan of this episode for that reason. I feel like there's kind of been a bit of episodes this season where I'm like, I don't like that one that much. And some of the episodes I kind of assumed were like later on in like season 5 or 6 where there's a lot of episodes that aren't so great. So I'm like, oh, these were only in season 3?
I don't know that it's like a bad scenario per se. It's just like that ending.
Yeah, the ending was mainly what I have a beef with.
Like, but I mean, they kind of do extreme stuff like handcuffing kindergartners and such.
The Townsville legal system.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, with that, like they probably would have been scared seeing Professor just in handcuffs.
Yes, they could have just like pretended to arrest him.
Yeah.
They would have been like busted in their house. Maybe not like busted. Like, oh, Professor has to pay for this door now too. But
well, because like he's.
No, where's your professor?
I mean, he did. It was many days, and he did steal a lot of toys. So at that point, yeah, it did become expensive. But he wasn't robbing a bank, and he didn't have a weapon. I mean, he did when he was. I think once he grabbed the mayor.
Yeah,
they were all toy guns. We were told, but like, I mean, I suppose that's why they shot at him, was because he did hold the mayor hostage there.
Yeah.
But before that, and why the mayor was even part of said operation, like the SWAT team was extreme for a toy store theft.
Yeah. Maybe if he had held the mayor hostage, and that's why they were on the SWAT team, but the SWAT team was there the whole time.
I mean, they don't even shoot MoJo. Like, they've never, I don't know if they've really showed, I don't know, maybe some of the robbers and stuff have shot before, but like, I don't know if they really show the cops and stuff, like, shooting.
I'm not sure if they do.
I mean, sometimes Powerpuff Girls do, like, obliterate some of the monsters, but we're not really shown death a whole lot, I guess.
Yeah, not, like, violence towards, like, humans or humanoids in that way. Anyways, I mean, obviously, like, they very recently did pummel the absolute shit out of MoJo.
It was just like, they shot him and shot him and shot him and shot.
I know.
It wasn't even just like one of them got a little trigger happy and shot at him.
Yeah. I'm gonna have like nightmares about that forever.
And then I think Professor overall is like, you know, like an upstanding citizen and, you know, father to the Powerpuff Girls. So like I would think that they would at least like give him the benefit of the doubt. Like drop a net on him or taser him or tase him or something, but not shoot him like that.
Yeah, sometimes like his science goes wrong, but it's not like he's like gotten someone like killed or anything, I don't think.
Yeah, and they still just kind of like give him a pass or whatever, so.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that kooky professor. Alright, so I think we are going to end our discussion here. The next episodes we're going to be talking about are Helter Shelter and Power Lunch. So you might want to watch those beforehand so we don't spoil the whole thing for you. I think those are both pretty decent episodes. So that'll be a little bit more fun to discuss. Thank you for listening, and if you've been enjoying the show, we would super appreciate it if you hit all those buttons for us. Maybe leave a review, tell a friend who might enjoy the pod, etc. We just like to get out there to more folks and get some more feedback. And if you leave us a review, we might read it on the podcast. I think that's everything. So until next time, I'll be the roundabout. Goodbye.
Goodbye.